snow tracks and stolen veggies, it was winter in a small village near Skarju. The snow was thick, the nights were silent, and the sky was always full of stars. People stayed in their homes after sunset, warming their hands near fire and sipping hot chai, but strange things had started happening. Old man Karim was the first to notice. He owned a small farm near the edge of the forest. One morning, he found that all his fresh carrots were missing. There were no signs of animals, no broken fences, just the carrots gone. He blamed the village boys. Thieves! He shouted. At the tea shop, useless boys with nothing to do. But the next night, the same thing happened. This time, tomatoes and spinach. He checked the snow. That's when he saw it. Footprints. But not human, not animal. Something in between. The footprints were small, thin, and glowing slightly in the snow. He called his neighbor Imran and showed him. Imran scratched his head. This is no goat. Maybe a prank. Karim shook his head. These prints glow. You ever seen glowing feet before? People started whispering in the village. Maybe it was a ghost. Maybe a jinn. Or something worse. 3 nights later, young Faison, a quiet boy who loved science and stars, decided to find the truth. He took his father's old security camera and set it up near the vegetable field. I'll catch the thief, he said, smiling. The next morning, he checked the footage on his laptop. What he saw made his heart stop. A girl. A glowing girl. She walked barefoot in the snow. Her skin was blue, not pale blue like cold skin, but bright blue, like sky before a storm. Her hair was white and floated behind her, even without wind. Her eyes glowed like small lights. She moved fast, almost like she was flying low. She picked the vegetables with soft hands, and then disappeared into the woods. Faiza and replayed the video again and again. This can't be real, he whispered. Ran to show it to his friend Arif, but when they returned, the camera was gone. Just like that. Only the tripod remained, broken and half buried in snow. No one believed Faison. They laughed and said he had watched too many space movies. But Faison knew what he saw, and he wanted to see her again. That night, he dressed in his warmest clothes, packed a flashlight and some food, and waited near the farm. He hid behind a tree, shivering, his breath white in the air. Hours passed, nothing moved. The village slept. The only sound was the wind through the trees. Then movement. Soft footsteps. A gentle blue glow in the dark. She came again. The girl was thin. She looked around carefully. Her eyes glowed softly as she touched a pumpkin, then turned to carrots. Faison didn't move. He held his breath. Suddenly, she stopped. Her head turned, slowly, in his direction. Faison's heart pounded. She didn't speak. She didn't scream. She just stared, eyes wide. Faison raised his hand slowly. I'm not here to hurt you, he said softly. I saw you, on camera. She blinked, confused. He stepped out from behind the tree. I'm Faison, you. You're not from here. Are you? The girl didn't answer. She looked tired, hungry. She held the carrots close to her chest like they were gold. Faison took out a packet of biscuits from his bag and placed them on the ground between them. He stepped back. She looked at the packet, then at him. After a few seconds, she walked forward and picked it up. She sniffed it, then bit into a biscuit. Her eyes widened. She smiled, just a little. Faison laughed softly. You like it? The girl looked at him, then said one word in a strange, soft voice. Safe? Faison nodded. Yes, safe. Suddenly, a loud sound echoed in the woods. A dog barking. The girl panicked. She dropped the biscuits, looked at Faison one last time, and ran into the dark trees. The blue glow faded with her. Faison stood there, stunned. She spoke, he whispered. She asked if she was safe. He returned home, thinking of her glowing eyes and tired face. He knew one thing now. She wasn't a ghost or a thief. She was something else, not something lost. Something scared, and somehow it was up to him to help her. But deep in the forest, someone else was watching. A red light blinked behind the trees. Something had been activated. Faison couldn't sleep that night. The girl's voice echoed in his head. Safe? No one had ever said that word with such fear or such hope. He spent the morning staring at the forest from his rooftop, hoping to see the blue glow again. But there was only snow, trees, and silence. For 3 nights she didn't return. On the 4th night, something changed. It was just past midnight when Faison heard a strange sound outside, a soft, high-pitched hum. Like a whistle, but not from any human mouth. He grabbed his coat, slipped out quietly, and followed the sound. His feet sank in the snow. His breath formed clouds. The sound grew louder as he moved deeper into the trees. Then he saw her, the blue girl was lying in the snow, barely moving. Her hair was stuck to her face. Her lips were cracked. One arm was covered in small cuts, glowing softly under the moonlight. Faison rushed to her. She looked at him, slowly, and whispered, "Cold, too cold." Without thinking, he picked her up. Her body was light, like she weighed nothing. But his arms tingled where her skin touched his jacket. He took her to his house, into the old storage room behind the kitchen. It was warm, dry, and full of old blankets. She shivered under the covers. Faison lit a small heater and gave her water. She sniffed it like a child, then drank. After a few minutes, she whispered again, "Safe?" Faison smiled. "Yes, you're safe now." The next morning, Faison brought her food, soft roti, boiled potatoes, and sweet tea. She picked up the teacup and stared into it. Faison laughed. "That's chai. It'll warm you." She sipped it slowly, then smiled. That smile stayed with Faison all day. In the next 2 days, she began to heal. She didn't say much. Only small words: cold, food, sky, safe. Faison showed her a mirror. She touched her face gently, as if she didn't recognize herself. He asked, "What's your name?" She thought for a long moment, then touched her chest. "Theory." Faison nodded. "Theory, I'm Faison." He pointed to the stars on a map pinned to the wall. She stared at them for a long time. Then slowly she pointed to a tiny spot far from Earth. "My home," she said softly. Faison's eyes widened. "You're from space?" She looked at him with serious eyes, then nodded. Faison didn't know what to say. She was calm, but something behind her eyes looked broken, like she had lost something big or someone. He tried to ask more, but she became silent again. Later that night, Faison noticed something strange. Theory was sitting near the heater, her hands outstretched. But her fingers weren't normal anymore. They glowed softly like stars, not just her fingers. Her skin, too, shimmered under the light, almost like her body was reacting to heat or emotion. Suddenly, she turned her head, fast. "Someone is coming," she said. Faison stood up. "What?" She closed her eyes and placed her hand on the floor. After a few seconds, she whispered, "Machine, metal, watching." Faison ran outside. Nothing. But as he looked toward the edge of the village, he saw something, a tiny red light blinking from the top of a tree. A drone. Faison came back and locked the door. "How did you know?" he asked. Theory looked at him. "My body listens. It hears things your kind cannot." Faison was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, "Why are you here?" Theory looked away. "I was escaping. There was a war. My ship fell. I woke up in the snow." She touched the cut on her arm. "Your world hurts me, but I have nowhere else to go." Faison felt something tighten in his chest. She looked so strong, yet so lost. "You can stay here," he said. "No one will find you." "But," Theory shook her head, "they already have." That night, as Theory slept in the storage room, Faison stayed awake. Watching from the window, he saw something strange on the hill, a pair of eyes, Red. Not human. Watching. Something more than the drone. Something waiting. The next morning, Faison opened the storage room door slowly. Theory was already awake, sitting cross-legged on a blanket, her hands open in her lap. Her eyes were closed, but her body glowed faintly, like the sunrise was trapped inside her. He said softly, "Theory?" She opened her eyes. They shimmered, not with light, but with sadness. "You didn't sleep?" Faison asked. I listened. She said, "Your world never stops moving." Faison smiled. "That's true. We talk, we eat, we fight. And sometimes we help strangers." Theory looked at him carefully. "You help me. But why?" Faison thought for a moment. "Because you were hungry. Because you were cold. And because you looked lonely." Theory tilted her head. "Is that how your kind works? You help the ones who are broken?" Faison shrugged. "Sometimes. Not always, but I do." Theory was silent. Then she reached out, slowly, and touched his chest with her fingers. Faison froze. She placed her hand flat over his heart. Her glowing skin pulsed softly against his shirt. "What is this sound?" she asked. Faison laughed nervously. "That's my heartbeat." Theory closed her eyes. "It's loud. Strange, like a drum with purpose." Faison looked down. "It means I'm alive. It means I feel things." Theory nodded slowly. "Then I like this sound." That day, Faison brought her books, old-school science books with stars, planets, and human biology. She turned the pages slowly, eyes wide like a child. "This is your body?" she asked, pointing at a drawing of the human brain. "Yes, well, not mine exactly, but close enough." She looked confused. "You are soft, slow, but full of energy." Faison chuckled. "Thanks, I guess." She touched the drawing of a heart. "But this part is loudest. It speaks." Faison nodded, sometimes too much. At night, she sat by the heater again. But something was different. She was building something. Wires, batteries, a broken radio. Metal parts from old kitchen junk. Her fingers moved fast, too fast for any human. Her eyes glowed brighter as she worked. "What are you making?" Faison asked. "A listener," she said. "For what?" She paused. "For them, for what is coming." Faison's smile faded. "Theory, who is coming?" She didn't answer, but the glow in her skin faded a little. "I don't want to hide forever," she said, "but I can't run either." Later that night, the wind outside grew strong. The windows shook. The power blinked twice, then went out. Faison lit a candle and walked back to the storage room. I wasn't there. He panicked. "Theory?" Then he saw her, standing in the snow outside, barefoot, staring at the sky. He ran to her. "What are you doing? You'll freeze." She didn't move. Her eyes were fixed upward. "They're speaking," she whispered. Faison looked up. There was only the moon. "No, not with sound," Theory said. "With light, frequencies. Your kind cannot hear it." Faison shivered. "Is it your people?" Theory looked at him. "No, it's your people." Suddenly, a beam of red light flashed across the sky, then vanished. A second later, a loud thud echoed through the forest. Something had landed. Faison grabbed her hand. "We have to go." But Theory didn't move. Her legs were shaking. Her glow dimmed. "I feel heavy," she whispered, "like the air is wrong." Faison pulled her inside. She collapsed on the floor. He wrapped her in blankets. Her skin was cold, too cold, but still glowing softly. He held her hand. "What's happening to you?" She looked up at him, her voice weak. "This world is not made for me. The light, the air, the sound, everything here fights me." Faison clenched his jaw. "Then why did you come?" "I didn't choose this place," she said. "My ship was hit. I crashed. I ran." Faison asked, then what do you need? What can help you? Theory hesitated. Sunlight, from my star, my real star. Without it, I will fade. Outside, snow began to fall again. But far away, on the hills, a figure in black watched through. Night vision binoculars. He spoke into a radio. Target is confirmed. Unknown female, possibly non-human. Interacting with local civilian. A cold voice replied, observe only. ISI team is preparing for quiet extraction. The man lowered the binoculars, his eyes narrowed. Back inside, Theory reached again for Faison's chest. She pressed her fingers gently. The drum is still strong, she whispered. Even when you are afraid. Faison smiled, but his voice was serious. I'm not afraid for me, I'm afraid for you. She looked into his eyes. Then we share a heart. Snow fell like quiet ash over the village. Everyone was sleeping, everyone. Except Faison and the girl with stars in her skin. Inside the small storage room, the glow from Theory's fingers lit the air like a soft lamp. Her breathing was slow. Her hands trembled as she tightened the final wire on a strange machine built from scrap. It didn't look human. It didn't even look safe. Faison watched her from the doorway. He held a cup of tea, untouched, slowly going cold. What is that thing? He asked softly. Theory didn't look up. A signal catcher, a message sender, a warning. A warning to who? Theory stopped working. She finally looked up. To anyone listening. My people, or others. Faison stepped closer. You said your people wouldn't come. They won't, she said. But others might. The machine started to hum, a quiet sound, like the wind through glass. Its small lights blinked. In a pattern Faison didn't understand. But Theory's eyes followed every blink. She was reading them. Far above, hidden beyond the clouds, a satellite shifted. Not one of Earth's, not one built by hands. But it heard her message, and something responded. In a silent ISI control room in Islamabad, a man in uniform stood in front of a large screen. Sir, said the technician, unusual frequency. Detected, northern region, repeating code, not military, not commercial, and not from this world. The officer narrowed his eyes. Send the team. Back in the village, Faison sat next to Theory. She was quiet now, staring at the machine like it might explode or vanish. Faison whispered, you didn't want to send the signal before. Why now? Theory closed her eyes. Because your people are close, and not just watchers. They are hunters now. Faison's heart jumped. You mean the drone? Theory nodded. And more. I feel them in the snow. I feel their weapons. Faison looked out the small window. Only white silence. How can you feel things like that? Theory touched her head. My kind does not just see or hear. We sense life, movement, even fear. She looked at him. You are afraid now. He didn't deny it. That night, Faison couldn't sleep. He lay on the floor near the storage room, listening to wind, listening to Theory breathing. And then, something else, a faint click. Like boots in snow. He froze. Then, a flash of red light across the window. Faison ran outside. Barefoot. He saw it. A black van, parked far off-road. A man stood beside it, tall, holding a device. Watching his house through a scope, Faison ducked. Behind the wall. His breath came fast. He crawled back to the storage room. They're here, he whispered. Theory opened her eyes. I know. Suddenly, the machine buzzed, louder now. The lights blinked fast. Theory rushed to it, her hands flying over the controls. What's happening? Faison asked. She didn't answer. The machine gave one loud beep and died. Silence. Thir. I stood still. Then she whispered. Someone answered. Faison stared at her. Who? She looked at him. Not my kind. Something else. I don't know if it's friend or enemy. Then she looked outside. Her glowing eyes narrowed. But they will. Come. Back in the control van, the ISI officer stared at his screen. Her signal just stopped, he said. But something else just replied, and it wasn't from this planet. A soldier leaned forward. What do we do? The officer looked. At Faison's house. Wait, observe. She's not just a visitor now. She's a beacon. Inside, Faison sat with Theory in the dark. He asked, "Are you scared?" Theory shook her head slowly. "Not yet, but I am tired." He placed a blanket over her shoulders. "I don't care if they're watching," Faison said. "You're not alone anymore." She looked at him. "You are. Very strange for your kind." Faison smiled. "Thanks." Then she leaned forward and touched her forehead to his dot in her world. That meant trust. Here, it felt like something more dot outside. In the white forest, the snow began to move, but not from the wind, from footsteps. That didn't belong to Earth. His boots crushed the snow without a sound. Captain Remen didn't rush. He never did. He believed silence said more than footsteps, and stillness always scared people more than shouting. The village welcomed him with fear, not words. He wore a plain coat, no rank showing. But every movement, every look told the truth. This man had seen things, done things, buried them. The team said nothing as he entered Faison Street. One black van stayed at the edge of the road. One soldier sat in a tea shop, pretending to drink. Another leaned on a tree, pretending to sleep. Faison had no idea he was surrounded. Captain Remen liked it that way. Inside the small house, Faison's mother was making paratha. Remen knocked once. Faison opened the door. Their eyes met. Faison tried to smile. "Salam." Remen didn't respond. He stepped inside without invitation. Faison moved aside, heart racing. Remen looked around. His eyes scanned the walls, the floor, the ceiling, not searching for dust, but for secrets. "Nice home," he said finally. His voice was quiet, flat. Faiza, and nodded. "Thank you." Remen sat. Faison's mother offered chai. Remen didn't drink it. "I heard you're a smart boy," Remen said, eyes still scanning. "You like machines, stars, science." Faison forced a smile. "I try. Where's your father?" "Passed away last year. I'm sorry." He didn't sound sorry. Then Remen leaned forward, elbows on knees. "We detected a strange signal near this village," he said. "Not from a satellite. Not from a tower. Something else." Faison said nothing. "Have you seen anything strange lately?" Remen asked. "Unusual lights? Sounds? People?" Faison shook his head slowly. "No, sir." Remen smiled, the kind of smile that means nothing. "I believe you," he said, but he didn't single quotes t. Outside, in the old storage room. Theory stayed perfectly still. She could hear everything, not through the wall, but through the sound of Faison's heartbeat. It was louder, faster. He was lying, and he was scared. Captain Remen stood up. "Mind if I look around?" Faison tensed. It's just my room's a mess." "I've seen worse," Remen replied. He walked toward the back. Faison stepped in front of the door. "There's nothing there." Remen tilted his head. "You sure?" Faison swallowed. "It's just tools, old junk." Remen looked at him, really looked. Faison's hands were shaking. Remen stepped back. "I believe you," he said again. Then he leaned in closer. Whispered something only Faison could hear. "But if you're hiding something, don't lie to me again." That night, Faison sat alone near the heater. His hands were cold, his face pale. Theory came out of hiding. "He touched you with his eyes," she said. Faison nodded. "He didn't blink. He knows." "Yes." Theory sat beside him. "He is not afraid of me." "That makes him dangerous," Faison whispered. "He's ISI. They don't run from anything." She tilted her head. Then, "What do they want?" Faison looked at the door. "Control. Or silence." Theory touched his shoulder. I can leave. No, you will be in danger. I already am. Far away, in the hills above the village, Remen stood in the dark, alone, watching Faison's house through binoculars. A soldier approached. Orders, sir? Remen didn't answer at first. Then he said something strange. Give him one more night. Sir? Remen lowered the binoculars. There's more to this girl than we understand. He lit a cigarette. And I want to see what she does when she's scared. Back in the house, Faison looked at Theory. Tomorrow we find a way out, he said. Theory didn't answer, because something outside the window caught her eye. A mark in the snow. A circle. With symbols inside it. Not human. Not hers. Something else had arrived. The sky was too quiet. Faizan. Could feel it in his chest. That kind of silence that came before something big. Like a storm. Or a goodbye. Inside the storage room, Theory stared at the strange circle in the snow outside the window. The symbols inside it still glowed faintly. This wasn't left by me, she said softly, and it wasn't made by your kind either. Faison leaned over her shoulder. Then, who? She didn't answer. She only whispered, we have to go, tonight. Faison packed quickly. Old hiking boots. A flashlight. 2 bottles of water. Blankets. His father's mountain map. Theory. Carried nothing. She said she needed to stay light. Her body was weakening. The longer I stay here, she said, the harder it becomes to move. Your world pulls me down. Faison grabbed a metal box from the corner. Inside it, her broken signal device. Can you fix this if we find sunlight? Theory nodded. Maybe, but we have to climb higher than the clouds. By the time they left, the moon was rising, full and white like an eye in the sky. They took the back route past the old well, into the frozen hills where no one went after dark. Only shadows followed them, but they didn't know something else had already seen them. In the ISI control van, a red dot blinked on a digital map. Movement, said the soldier. North of the village, 2 heat signatures. One's not normal. Captain Remen stared at the screen. He lit another cigarette. No more waiting, he said. We move, quiet and fast. Faison and Theory reached the tree line by midnight. The wind was stronger here. Colder. But the sky was opening above them. Theory stopped and turned her face upward. Her skin glowed brighter under the stars. This light. It feels like home, she whispered. Then she gasped and fell to her knees. Faison ran to her. What's wrong? She held her chest. Something is calling, something wrong. Faison looked behind them. Nothing, but the trees felt closer. Now like the forest was listening. We have to keep moving, he said. He pulled her up. She didn't resist. Hours passed. They climbed a narrow mountain trail, snow up to their knees. Faison's legs ached. His lungs burned. But Theory started moving faster. The higher we go, she said, the lighter I feel. Faison smiled, out of breath. That's good. I feel like dying. Theory reached for his hand. Her fingers were warm. For the first time since she fell to earth, her glow wasn't fading. It was returning. Then came the sound. A low hum. Not from above. From inside the mountain. I froze. That sound. It is not yours. It is old. Suddenly, the snow beneath their feet cracked, just once. Then again, a soft vibration under the earth. Faison held her arm. What is this? Theory didn't blink. This place is not just a mountain. It's a door. Back in the forest, ISI reached Faison's house. Empty. Remen entered the storage room, looked around. The glow was gone. The signal machine was cold, but outside in the snow, he saw the same circle. He bent down, touched the symbols. They felt warm. One soldier asked, Sir, do we follow? Remen stared at the stars. Then nodded. Double quotes, yes. And we bring the pulse jammer if she contacts anything up there. We may not survive what answers back. On the mountain peak, Faizan and Theory found an opening, a cave, hidden behind frost-covered rock. The hum was louder now. Inside the cave walls, blue veins of light pulsed softly, like breathing stone. "This is not human," Faizan said. "No." Theory replied, "It's older than humans, older than me." They stepped inside. Theory walked to the center and held out her hand. A floating panel of light rose from the ground. "It's listening," she said. Faizan stepped back. "What if it doesn't like us?" Theory looked at him. "Then we die together." She placed her hand on the light. Outside the cave, Remen and his men approached, moving in silence. The air shimmered slightly, like heat rising from cold stone. Remen looked at the entrance, then signaled, "Prepare for breach." But before they moved, the mountain shook. Not like an earthquake, like something underneath had woken up. The snow around the peak melted in seconds. The light inside the cave flashed once, then shot straight into the sky. A silent beam. A signal. Inside, Theory collapsed. Faizan held her. "Did it work?" he asked. Theory smiled weakly. "They heard me." Faizan looked at her. Her skin was brighter, eyes full of tears. He whispered, "Now what?" She replied, barely a whisper, "Now they come." The sky above the mountain turned silver, not gray, not white. Silver, like melted stars. A line of light cut across the heavens, silent, sharp, and endless. It wasn't fire, it wasn't thunder, it was something older. Something not meant for human eyes. Faizan stood at the cave's edge, holding Theory in his arms. Her glow was fading again. The signal had gone out. And something had answered. She looked at him, barely breathing. "They're near," she whispered. Faizan swallowed hard. "Your people?" She shook her head. "No, not mine, but not yours either." Behind them, Captain Remen stood with two of his men, guns ready. He had no words. The cave behind Faizan glowed like a second sun. The walls pulsed gently, like a heartbeat in stone. Remen lowered his weapon. He had never believed in aliens. He had never believed in much. But now, watching the boy hold the dying girl from the stars, he believed in silence. "I can't go," Theory said, looking into Faizan's eyes. "My body is too weak. The signal used everything I had." Faizan held her tighter. "There must be something we can do." She smiled faintly. "You already did. You saw me, and you didn't run." Faizan shook his head. "That's not enough. I won't let you die in snow." She touched his cheek, "Then stay until the end." Suddenly, the light returned. Above the mountain, a shape appeared. No sound. No fire, just presence. A ship, but not a ship. It looked like a ripple in the sky. A piece of the universe folded wrong. It hovered in place, then lowered. Captain Remen took one step forward. Then stopped. A voice, not spoken but heard, filled the cave and the mountain. "Life sign matched. Transfer possible." Faizan looked around. "What does that mean?" Theory's eyes opened wider. They can save me." Faizan smiled. "Then go. What are you waiting for?" But she shook her head slowly. "There is a price." She looked at Faizan. "If I go with them, I survive." Faizan nodded. "Good. But I lose everything I learned here. Your language, your world." Faizan's face fell. "Wait. Your memory?" She touched his chest again. "This heartbeat would disappear from me." Captain Remen finally spoke. "You don't have a choice. Go. Survive." Theory stood, her legs weak. She looked at Faizan. "I want to remember," she said. He didn't speak. He just held her hand. The beam of light from the ship reached down, soft like moonlight. It touched her skin, and her glow returned, slowly, like a fire waking up. Then she stepped forward. Just one step into the beam. Her body lifted slightly. Her eyes fluttered. She turned to look at him one last time. Faison stepped forward. 2. He reached out, touched her hand as it began to rise. Their fingers met. One human. One knot, one heart between them. Then. Light. Everything vanished in white. No sound. No wind. Just snow. Faison woke up alone, lying on the cold ground. The cave was dark now. Empty. No glow. No theory. He sat there, breathing slowly, as the stars blinked above him. He whispered, "Did you forget me?" A week passed. The village went quiet again. ISI left without questions. Remen never filed a full report. He simply wrote, "No contact found," and left the last page blank. Faizan returned to the cave every evening, waited under the stars, watched the sky. Then, one morning, something strange happened. In his backyard, in the middle of the snow, a small flower bloomed. Blue, glowing, not from earth. Next to it, a stone carved with one word. In broken Urdu, safe. Faison smiled, and for the first time in days, he felt his heartbeat again.